As Indo-Pacific powers come together to take on a bullish China, a spineless Biden administration watches on meekly. Like an old hag, the Biden administration continues to issue mere rhetorical statements against China without any verifiable action on the ground. This has forced countries in the Indo-Pacific to take the task of ensuring that the region remains free and open upon themselves. And since China is now eyeing Taiwan with enhanced vigor, countries like Australia, Japan, and others are stepping up their preparedness for an inevitable conflict with the paper dragon. Hi and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Sanbir, and in this video we talk about how China has realized that it must invade Taiwan as long as Biden remains the American president, and how Indo-Pacific powers too are gearing up to protect the island nation. Watch on. Ever since Joe Biden came to power in the United States, China has realized that America is no longer going to react against its bullishness in the Indo-Pacific. Slowly, American allies in the region are also realizing the need to become self-sufficient and protect their own interests, with or without the United States. This is now culminating into a clearer contest, a war between China and Indo-Pacific powers minus the US over Taiwan. As already reported by TFI, Beijing has been getting emboldened by the inability of the Biden administration to react in face of Chinese provocations at key areas like the Senkaku Islands and the Whitsun Reef in the South China Sea. Therefore, China is now eyeing a bigger target, Taiwan. On the other hand, this has caused a sense of restlessness in other powers like Australia and Japan, which must prepare for the eventuality of a Chinese invasion into Taiwan. In fact, Australia's former Defence Minister Christopher Pyne warned that Australia will likely be dragged into a war with China in the next 5 to 10 years. According to Pyne, the likely flashpoint will be Taiwan, which the former Australian Defence Minister described as the most concerning of all of China's overt indications of aggression. Pyne added, "This isn't rhetoric. This is something that you and I may well have to confront in the next 5 to 10 years. Fortunately for Australia, it is not the only power in the region that is concerned about Chinese hawkishness against Taiwan. Even Japan remains concerned about the possibility of a military clash between China and Taiwan. In fact, Japan has taken a clear stand on the issue and has hinted at its willingness to provide full military support to Taiwan in case of a Sino-Taiwanese military clash. Japan and Taiwan may have their own differences, but presently, Tokyo's main objective is to contain China, and it understands that differences with Taiwan can be resolved once the China threat is managed adequately." Pyne's remarks came in the backdrop of increased Chinese military activity around Taiwan. Recently, Beijing deployed 25 warplanes into the southwest section of Taiwan's air defense identification zone in a manifest act of aggression against the island nation. The Chinese state media too asserted future plans of continuing with such military activity against Taiwan. Meanwhile, the Biden administration has failed to go beyond mere rhetoric against China's rising military activity. Biden administration officials keep warning China against misadventures, but every time the paper dragon actually flexes its muscles in the Indo-Pacific region, the US military fails to react appropriately. In fact, even in terms of diplomacy, it is Tokyo that has forced the Biden administration to speak in Taiwan's support, and therefore, even in the case of an actual physical clash between China and Taiwan, all that we can expect the Biden administration to do is condemn Chinese aggression. It would be impractical to expect that the US military will be rescuing the island nation in face of Chinese military aggression. As such, Australia and Japan understand that they will be the ones getting caught up in a military action against China if and when the paper dragon tries to attack Taiwan militarily. Other powers like India and France are also likely to chip in and support Taiwan in warding off the Chinese aggression. Yet, the task is now clear. The US is indifferent towards Taiwan, and if the need arises, it is Australia and Japan who would have to go to war with China.